Alright, hello, as I introduce myself. Hope you guys are doing well. We're back for another session as I switch, Jeff. Alright, we're back at another session of the Great Ace Attorney. Hope you guys are doing well as always. And last session, we continued on from episode 4. We got into the card room. We decided to defend Sozaki because we believe in him. We believe that he was not the perpetrator of said crime of stabbing, I believe, Olive Green. I don't know if that's her actual name, but where we last left off, we got into a little conundrum, I believe. We did one summation examination, and now the jury has voted again, not guilty, I mean. They voted guilty once again, and we have to do another summation examination, but this time we have to talk about the fourth book that the victim was holding, which is the Lion's Pride. We know it's the maid of Mr. Garrett Deb's from the Mr. Garrett Deb's household, right? And we know that the wife is taking over, you know, the maid's role because she was meant to be in the jury, but she got stabbed, right? So part 2 of episode 4. Is everything looking good? Okay. Alright. The judicial right for this procedure. Alright. So, counsel, you will now proceed with your second summation examination. Alright. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman. Okay. Let's press. I don't know if we have whatchamacallit. I don't know if we have more lives, because it's, you know, because we just got a checkpoint, question mark. We're in part 2. Alright, so let's hear here. The accused left behind evidence of the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. Right, even if the woman was storing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? Yeah, that makes sense. Dear me, it was only a little book, hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit. You may have to press on that. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble. Tidy bit, not even tiny. Tidy. Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes. Alright. Yes, considerable more tangible arguments for all members of the jury this time around, it seems. With one noble exception, of course. My learned student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimony. So, the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. Alright. And moreover... Right, into the lamp. No one else was even at the scene to commit the crime. It would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued any other way. We'll find out. That means I'm afraid that during this summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for facts, or for the facts. But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here? Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those 2 details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted. And there I was thinking this might be hard. But Mr. Naruhodo, you have to do it. Otherwise this really will be where the trial ends. No pressure then. Alright, this is... enough preamble. Proceed. Proceed. I presume you are prepared, counsel? Yes, my lord. Alright, Renosuke. Focus your mind now. Double slaps. Clearly, the key to this summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid. Or should I say, Mrs. Garrett Deb. Yeah, you know, when I was a kid, I really... didn't understand Miss and Mrs. Mrs. is obviously for someone who's married, right? And Miss is for someone who's not, right? And when it's written in short form, it's MS for Miss and MRS for Mrs. I don't know why. For so like I really had bad English when I was a kid. Defense rebuttal. Rebuttal. Alright, let's go to 4. Let's press on to 4 here. Whoop. Doing me, it was only a little book. Highly life-threatening. Yeah, but the little book was on fire at the time, was it not? I'm gonna sneeze. With flames of love, I held you now. Alright, seems like there's gonna be a... Oh. Smacked him. Or maybe he dodged it. Well, he brought it upon himself. It's playing with fire to betray a fiery love. Isn't it? Well, don't you agree? Oh, well, any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yes. I think the argument might have been arisen out of your misunderstanding, Miss Garadeb. Or Mrs. Garadeb. Never you mind. The point is, we were just having a jovial little dispute, nothing more. I won't have any more of these suggestions that it was anything whatsoever to do with the crime. Right, well, we'll see about that. What about Joe number 5? Oh, he's getting hit. He doesn't seem to be tearing a hair out of Mrs. Garadeb's relentless onslaught. It's all as though he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is. Alright. Look, I just want to get this over and done with. Alright, let's see if he has something to say here. You just wanted to get this over with. How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here. Well, him and me both then. Like I said before. What? I told you already, I'm a day laborer, aren't I? But don't bring home some reedies with me tonight. Why isn't this man not like compensated? Poor guy. You'll find me floating face down in the Thames tomorrow morning. What? You heard me. My missus is a one to mess about. You know, she can be fierce. Believe you me. Another shining example of marital bliss then. A situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, well, oh, something here. You know, it's funny, but I can't quite remember. Sorry. Wait, hold on a sec. I'm gonna turn off my fan for like a few minutes. It was too frightening, that thing. I must have blocked it out. Helpful. I wonder if Mr. Bede will ever be dragged into the Thames by his scarf. And don't even go there, Mrs. Addo. There must be a way to jog his memory about this. Oh, damn. But can I present? I don't even know. You can. And I've got 1 HP left, I just noticed. So I gotta be careful here. Oh, okay, I just went forward accidentally. We need to demonstrate who, apart from Mr. Natsume, could have attacked the young woman on the street. As well as how he or she could have done it. Yes, but once again, the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudice. A lot of them seems convinced they're right, even in the face of logical arguments to the contrary. I think you're gonna need to pit against them. Yeah, I know that. Alright. I think she's just telling me there is a contradiction here. Let's see what I can do. I'll do number 6 here. Number 6. Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case? Sorry, what's that? You have to speak up, lad. Could you tell us more about the fire? It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. How nice. It had 75 candles on the top, it did. That must have been expensive, probably. What a sight to behold it was. You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship? Of course not. It was an angel cake to celebrate my birthday, obviously. It seems that's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo. Anyway, I mustered all my puff to blow them out. Only, I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but the candles went flying all over the room. Oh. Furniture caught and everything went up. The whole place filled with smoke. Definitely sounds like devil worship to me. No. And by the sneezers, I presume you mean the cold, but how did you catch a cold from the fan? No, it's the smoke. What a fiasco it was. The grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, You had to open all the windows to clear it. Alright, the windows. Inviting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave it did. I think this might be the thing here. Yeah, terrible cold. Damn, I knew it. It was desert worship all along. Something about this old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason. They have to open the window somehow. Alright. Alright, let's see. Might be this here. Let's see. The window was closed, right? But what about the possibility that the window was open? I think it might be 3 and 6 here. What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been. How can you be so sure? The prosecutor fellow over there said it earlier, didn't he? Winters in London are no joke. You don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors. So no, the window wasn't open. Us Londoners are like sitting by the fire and staying warm, see? But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you? It just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it. And what's the point in even having windows, huh? Counsel, you will kindly refrain from childish bickering. Oh, sorry. Somehow I need to show as an undeniable... Yeah, alright, we got it. Because this young man isn't going to budge otherwise. It's 3 and 6. 100%, but we gotta save. Because this might, you know, just end the run instantly. Let's do 10 again. Just in case somehow the footage disappears. Alright, pit against 6. Objection. There we go. Nicely done. These two jurors' statements clearly contradict one another. They do? How exactly, counsel? Don't point me again. I told you it wasn't me. Huh? What's that you say? Speak up, lad. Speak up. Juror number 3. Do you see? Oh, me? See what, sir? Did you hear juror number 6 account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. Well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Oh. Exactly. On the day in question at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garadeb's household. And Mr. Garadeb had the following to say about it. The whole place filled up with smoke.
Oh my.
Oh, here we go. Oh my hat, and something's happening here. Pursue. Whoops.
Excuse me.
Drinking a lot of tea. Juror number 4. Do you have something to say about that? Mrs. Garadeb? Oh, dearie me. What's the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am? It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now. What is it? When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window? What? I beg your pardon? What are you insinuating? The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it is inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window. And what if we did? Alright then, yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can have been easy since I've continued to give him a justly deserved book battering. Yeah, even though your house was on fire. Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It will be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. Of course, I should have realized. It's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You've managed to establish the window was open. We simply must have add that to a statement. Alright, here we go. Now you mentioned it, yes, the window was open. I've clean forgotten, but it's true. Alright, whoa. Alright, let's save. Can we put this against, Alright. Maybe not. Maybe not yet. Let's press it. The 4th book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. And the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Garadeb told us he has been reading. Well, I really couldn't say. On the day in question, did you or did you not throw at your husband the copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading? I did. It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. Now you come to mention it, yes. It was rather enjoying reading it, you're right. Why did you not reveal this information, relieve the card from the outset? Because I couldn't, you insolent man. I didn't remember. Times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on as you wail. What the hell am I saying? As well, you know.
Oh boy.
Oh, I barely noticed I was throwing the book, much less the title of it. Oh, something happened here.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. What's the German number 5? It's flexing. Oh yeah, also Popeye's rival is Bluto. Not Pluto. Bluto. I remember what it was. The memory I blocked out. Oh, here we go. Ah. It was listening to what this granny was saying. Brought it all floating back. I don't think she's a granny. Yeah. Who are you calling a granny, you cheeky devil? I'm Mrs. Garrett Debs, or the maid, I'll have you know. Man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's used to being hit all the time. I'm pretty sure it is. It was about 2 weeks ago now. I just come back home from after work. Like, put my hand in my pocket from the wages I just earned that day and I nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny had dropped out. Oh. Oh dear, what a disaster. You haven't heard the half of it, boy. Alright. The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. I've lost a day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear. Stuck into the wall next to me, it did. About an inch deep. Yikes. Poor guy, no words, just terror. I could smell it, you know. That god-awful stench of the Thames. I was sure I was going to end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I could tell you. Now, that's a real disaster, isn't it? Well, I'll never use the word lightly again, yeah. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it. Now, Hudo, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined. No, I wasn't thinking that. Throwing household objects at people is, well, it's so uncivilized. You gotta throw them instead, yeah. At least attack with honor, using a bow or the like. What? Attack? Who are you gonna attack? Never mind. Anyway, this man's words could be rather significant, I think. Alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later, if I dare. Alright, Gnosis out of takedown. I wonder what the thing is. Oh, right, we still, it's definitely a possibility. Oh, right, okay. So, we haven't still, you know, we haven't really got a not guilty verdict from one of these guys yet, so. Alright, number 3, and maybe number 5?
Objection.
Nope, never mind. That's GG's. We're gonna load that back up. Maybe we, your wife really threw a kitchen knife at you? That's right, she was chopping me with it. Had a tiny edge on it, believe me. Still, it's all memories, isn't it? It started with that smile she threw me when we were courting. Since then, the list of things she's thrown at me has grown along with our relationship. There was a cup, then a glass, then a pot, a kettle, a chair, a wardrobe, a cooker, a bathtub. Your wife must have been beefy. Yeah, must be beefier than you. And things came to a head last week when she threw me right into the Thames. Still, she's not so bad when she's calmed down. She's a little sweetheart, really. Yeah, I wonder what... Yeah, I would like to meet the wife of this man. I'm so happy for you. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. If you want to know what I think this whole idea of ladies thirst that we're so obsessed with in this country was started up by some clever lad who's been tossed in the Thames a few too many times by their wives. Makes sense? That's a very interesting theory. What a terrible thought. On the face of it, this juror's statement just sounds like a really extreme what the hell? What? How do you say it? An anecdote. An anecdote. Yeah. What the hell? Alright, a weapon I might be able to use to make the jurors accept an alternate explanation here. Ah. Alright, so... Oh, okay. This might be... Alright, I think I've got an idea. I got an idea. It might be 2 and... number 2 and 5 here.
Objection.
Yeah. Those two statements clearly have a deeply significant connection. Good grief. You mean they don't contradict each other? Alright, let me turn my fan now. I need to turn my mic a bit as well. Turn my mic, turn the fan on. Yep. It's getting a bit... I was gonna say sweaty, but a bit hot. Juror number 2. Did you think, perhaps... that this could be one such novel alternative? Oh my, whatever do you mean? An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back. What are you talking about? We've demonstrated that the 4th book, The Lion's Pride, that was found on the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Garrett Deb's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garrett Deb's household to the suite below. Eh? What's that now? After all, Mrs. Garrett Deb could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4? What are you insinuating now, you little beanpole? I'm beginning to think that ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she had a feeling this might be what happened. Now listen here, you Eastern Gala. As the foreman of this jury, I demand a straight answer. Alright, you give us a yarn about some other object making its way out of the house, but what? What is it? I'm really taking a big gamble here. That was a bold accusation to make. I haven't any real evidence to back it up. I'm certain that, at the very least, this warrants further investigation. Yeah, makes sense. Alright, Mr. Foreman, I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object found its way... Oh, no, it's going to be the knife, isn't it? I mean, I could save, just in case. I think it's the knife.
Take that!
Juror number 4, Mrs. Gary Deb. What? What now? I must apologize in advance for this. I need you to confirm something else for the card. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before? Ah. Uh-oh. Let me take a drink. Alright. Yeah, was hurling anything she could. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, through which a book sailed to land at the crime scene. You can't seriously believe that. The book was found in the victim's grasp. Are you saying that it flew out the window across the street to land neatly in her hand? Even my missus hasn't got a name like that. Yes, I admit there are many details we don't yet understand, but that's the point. That's precisely why. We must not allow this trial to end. All right, now. Oh my. Ah. Mrs. Gary Deb, your answer please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Oh, let's go. Oh, damn, she fainted? Oh no. Uh-oh. Oh dear. My lord. I wish to change my decision. Alright, we convinced her. I'm a woman of my word after all. Thank you, madame. Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but... I just don't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end now. With so many unanswered questions. Mr. Foreman. I have to agree. Not that I think the granny did it in my mind. Yeah, yes. You know what? I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either. Damn, we've Alright, all together now, ladies and gents. How about number 6? Alright, he's not convinced. We've done it, we got all 4. So it's not like our last summation examination. We did it, we've turned the scales. We did it. Well, congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo. So, as a result of the defense summation examination, a number of jurors' leaning have changed. 2 jurors called guilty against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this cause is divided, and the trial will continue. Good stuff, good stuff. Now then, Lord Vadzix, how does the prosecution wish to proceed? As a yawn, sorry. Excuse me on that. Yeah, I'll just let it. My throat is not my throat, but I'm feeling a bit lazy. Reading lines. A farce. Like a corked wine, the few sips are bitter enough. Right back into the fire there. But what follows is so repugnant. It's good for nothing. What? It's good for nothing save the gutter. If I may, Lord Van Zeeks. The defense has just put forward a credible and tentative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond, but let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourself better with the relative positions of those places being discussed. What do you mean by that? What's his angle this time? It should already be more apparent that between the crime scene and the Garadev's household runs a rather wide street road. Which means that the distance from the Garadev's house to the scene is some, yes, 15 yards. Let me see, 15 yards. It's around 14 meters. 14 meters. That's like 14 1-meter sticks. That's a little farther than I imagined. As you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted as having botanist significance, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. Maybe it was like in the other side of the road and then she was moved. In other words, the smoldering book, wantonly heard by the lady of the house, travels some 15 yards. To land on the opposite side of the road, nearly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? And did the jackknife follow a near identical trajectory, plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots. Damn. Just dissed Iris's work right there. There's something I could say to that. That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. Mr. Zato. Serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare you? Yeah. Maybe let's pick our battles. Yeah. My lord, might I be allowed to speak? As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense, yes. Go ahead. Wait, I'm gonna get my leg up here. Prosecution may consider the idea a fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning. And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. Yep. Alright. To that end, juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garadeb, must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination. Saints alive! Cross-examination of a juror. Ah, that's interesting. New spin. Order. Well, this is highly irregular. It is unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand. Objection. Oh, he's gonna yeet it. Ah! What the fuck? There's a ball just came through. What the fuck was that? Alright, there are already witnesses in the stand. If he's gonna... Alright, my farcical theory has any truth, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before the couple's eyes. And we must assume that they'll be able to testify accordingly. Huh. What say you, witness? Rowley? What you got? Yes, sir. Constable Royal Beeb. Report for doing, sir. Well. Good morning, officer. Sorry for dozing until now, sir. I haven't slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared on my beat, sir. Oh, they are so heroic, these London bobbies. Patricia, my darling. I've been neglecting you, but no more. Oh, Rolly, my hero. You make me swoon. Swoon. Very well, I hereby reject the defense request. Oh, and order the witness in the stand to testify again. Alright. Say forthwith before the court any deals pertaining... Alright, whoa. Okay, yes, sir. You saw someone stab. Maybe we'll find out. Witness testimony. This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Gowdebs. Believe me, London Bobby is good for his word. You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of the Gowdebs are top hinge casements. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for a moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on the front, sir. Oh dear, that seems very solid, that testimony. Top hinge casement windows. Yeah, from the top, right? Oh yeah, so I'm sorry about that, but which way? Up or down? Doesn't matter anyways. Might be a little drowsy. You can't assume your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable. No, sir. I'm sorry, but... What exactly is a top hinge casement window? And you. You cannot assume your ignorance with such tried remarks, my learned friend. Of course, sorry, I'm just from Japan, please. Found it, Miss Nahodo. Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Mrs. Gowdeb's room. Alright, I'll try. Alright, I'm remembering it. Oh, there we go. So the window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the window. Yeah, like that. Ah, there we go. As the top hinge casement window, it swings open along the upper edge, you see. Yeah, that means it happened on the... Yeah, but which side of the street? There we go. Even though... she must have been moved. Who knows? Alright, so a printed opening. This is all news to me. Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if a book or knife were been thrown through the open window, it would have landed on the... Yeah, on just the road. Against the pane and fallen straight down to the pavement below. No. No, you see the problem then? Good. Your education in the windows is complete. There was never a possibility of either the book or knife traveling 15 yards over the road. Alright. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered, something we've discounted already. That can't be... You see that, Rolly? The young Japanese man just collapsed in agony. Oh yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw how he crumbled before me. Oh, Rolly, you're so strong. Hold up. How's this happening? I haven't even started this cross-examination yet, and already my argument's been destroyed. Yeah. No, I feel so lost in this, yeah. My lord. Oh good, another desperate situation. This has nothing, alright. Never mind. Windows on the top floor are top hinge. Might as well press that. By which you mean they don't fully open, is that correct? Yes, sir. Allow a bit of air through the house, see? And therefore, anything thrown out the window for inside the room would simply strike the pane and fall to the street directly below. For clarity, allow me to mark the map. Oh, here we go. Here, the location where the object would have fallen. We've been so hard for somebody to mention this top hinge casement thing before. Well, I have another question for you, Constable. And what would that be, sir? How do you even know? Why would you have any idea what sort of windows Mr. and Mr. Gowdeb's house is furnished with? Ah, well, sir, that's very simple. You see, I helped with the investigation yesterday. Oh, you got something?
Excuse me.
Excuse me, Patricia, you got something? You have something to add, Mrs. Bean? Huh? Sorry. You look, well, delighted. Is there something Oh, I was just remembering, that's all. We really were so lucky. Lucky? What do you mean? Well, of course, I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. But we were just so lucky it didn't happen on Rolly's beat. It was so close, you see. Yes, the street, Briar Road. That's the boundary between Royal Beat, the next one. Is that right, my love? Constable Beat. Huh? Oh, yes. That's right. That's the reason I was helping out with the interviewing the occupants of the Garadeb's household yesterday. That house is on my beat, you see, sir. Oh, that really was cutting it close then. Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. If the Garadeb's household is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well? Ah. That's at my Mr. Garadeb's house. Yes, ma'am. The pavement on that side of the road is part of my beat. I see. I was unaware of that. Add that to the testimony. Yeah, so that means she was... Just think, if the woman had been just on the other side of Briar Road, we've never been able to go for that meal. Celebrate our wedding anniversary. That's the life of the Bobby. Wait. What she said? I've been tagged just on the other side. Alright, never mind, yeah. Extraordinary people are Bobbies, tirelessly working for the benefit of our Londoners. You know what I think? I think it was a good Lord's way of rewarding my Rolly for all his hard work. Does he get paid here? Don't you think so, my darling? I think these guys are pretty poor, not gonna lie. That must be it, my love. That must be it. I think perhaps we should make sure we have that information officially on record. Leave it to me, Mr. Nahoda. I'll take care of it immediately. I see the contradiction. Now's my turn, I think. Honestly, if anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it. Yeah. I did leave the scene and go fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was make sure it wasn't disturbed. I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for 1 month. Oh, God. I think I gotta just press everything here as well. But according to my notes here, wait. Let me check my record here. What's the record? Alright. Maybe here. Was found outside his beat. Yeah. It's already dark. Oh, but Rolly and I were strolling along, gazing at the night sky and looking for our lucky star. Sorry. A star that will guide us to eternal happiness. Can it guide you to the answer to the question? If a flaming book had crossed across the sky in front of us, it would have lit up like a shooting star. Do you know a shooting star is a dying star? A star like near its death, near its lifespan, right? There will only be an inspector, I would have said, 3 times at least. Of course, what with the smog and everything, we couldn't actually see any stars. In short, are you trying to say that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before you? Yes, sir, that is correct, sir. Alright, yeah. It certainly seems like they're telling the truth there. Then we saw the poor woman fall to the ground, so we ran straight over to her and helped. Right, I'll press next again. But my trustworthy Rolly was there, make sure nothing was disturbed. Yes, you said you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer, is that right? That's right, yes. If it had been on Rolly's beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course. Don't feel bad, my love. You can't be expected to know the location of every police box on every beat. They've already told me the way. Only, I sort of got a little lost on my way. Patricia, my darling. That's why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me. Opan. Oh, Rolly. I don't think her terrible sense of direction is something to be complimented, but yeah. So I would suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes, but like I said, Rolly was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed. I was off duty at the time, of course, but a true Bobby is never really off duty, sir. Alright. Nothing strange to report on that. Nothing to report? That's correct, sir. Had my eyes wide open the entire time. Never looked away for a second. No one else approached from the scene and nothing was removed from it. I can swear to one that on the yard, honor, sir. Really, that seems a little strange. Beg your pardon, sir. Strange, sir. Seems altogether regular to me. This burnt copy of the Lion's Pride was originally in the Garadeb's household. So, the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? Aha, could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burned as well. Given that was were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As you see from the photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. Well, sir, that book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene. Alright. Is that so? Something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. There's two mysteries of how that knife ended up her back and how the book ended up in her hand. Some common thread between them. I'm so sorry, Mr. Naohoda. I had no right to speak out. What do you mean? I requested the cross-examination of Mr. Garadez without consoling you. Even if the judge did deny me... Oh, I see. Well, I agree with you. We do need testimonies from Mrs. Garadeb. If we're going to get the truth of this matter. You really think so? Well, think about it. No matter how far I cross the road or how the window opens, Mr. Garadeb's book found its way to the scene of the crime somehow, didn't it? You're right. And then there was Mrs. Garadeb's reaction to me showing her the knife. The woman's hiding something, I'm sure of it. You're right again. We need to use this cross-examination to uncover more clues. We'll get the bottom of this one way or another, I swear. Alright, I'll press this last statement and then save it.
Hold it!
How can you say that for certain? Very good question, sir. The answer is this. It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it. As a rider towards all policemen. Last one duty. He should have done that before, didn't he? Did he? Can't say I remember. I remember. Alright. Man, it gets hot in my room, man. Oh, Oli, you're so manly. Of course I am, my darling Patricia. No pan. Oh, Oli. No, none of this is what I meant. I mean, how can you say for certain that this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb? Oh, I see, sir. You should have said so, sir. Yeah, well... So, can you answer my question? That was a waste of time then. Absolutely, sir. I will answer it to my fullest ability, sir. There's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mr. Garadeb's domestic dispute cannot be related. Before I get into that, sir, just one thing. Yes? I very much like you and all your countrymen to understand the great British institution of Scotland Yard. So I hope you'll take back some tales of us London bobbies and how we uphold our guiding principles. Wasn't planning on going back just yet. I've only just arrived here. So, to that end, sir, I'll be happy to lend you my one card for the pursuer. Alright, but I must warn you, you won't be able to get through it without shredding a few tears. Alright, thank you. I'll try. Alright, this is important information there. Good thing we pressed it. Oh. Please, Mr. Lawyer, sir. Alright, I'll let it play here. Just what I said, why are you pressing me again? Hey, everyone's equal here, Patricia. You might see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am. Yeah, I really don't remember ever suggesting that I doubted you in the first place. No excuses, I don't want to hear it. My voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you? Yes, Mrs. Bede. I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you so desire. Sometimes the path of less resistance is the sage one. That was a very loud mutter. I heard that. A Japanese man thinks the policeman's what? Hold on. I feel like I need burp, but yeah, I just did. Sorry. Well, watch out, sir. I might let you get away with something like that, but my rolly won't. Duly noted, Mrs. Beat. Please, I humbly ask you to continue. What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder? What she's gonna say. I know what I saw. My eyes never let me down. My sense of direction is a little off sometimes, so... Yeah, that might be it, though. Mrs. B, nobody isn't questioning what you've told us. I saw it, I did. That evening I saw it clearly. That little Eastern man with the whiskers and the funny curved back, slinking away from the scene. Huh. I know I didn't see as well. I didn't see any flaming bucks or knives flying through the sky, so it must have happened after, right? All very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction. Oh, yes. Well, that's a little embarrassing, really. I always end up at the wrong place when I've made arrangements to meet Rolly. He ever gets so cross, does he?
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Possible beat. Is there a problem? Excuse me. I bet you I could. I bet you I could do like a. Maybe I am now a Helder's voice actor. Excuse me. Excuse me. Did your wife remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Oh, well, in many ways, sir. Yes, sir. I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening, is all. You mean Mrs. Bede lost her way on the night of the incident? Well, you see, I sent her off to find a police box in the next beat over mine. She was gone a far bit longer than I was expecting. I thought she was back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone a good 15. Oh, Rolly, you're such a tease. The reason I was so long was because of the bouquet, silly. Bouquet? Bouquet? Banquet? Bouquet, I believe. What are you talking about? Oh, it was a present for our wedding anniversary. Rolly was so romantic. He saved up for it with farthings and halfpennies he found in the gutter while doing his rounds. Damn, he struggled for it, huh? Yes, how romantic. I've forgotten all about it until just now. Had you, my darling? Ah, huh? Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. That was just between us. No talking about it to anyone else, darling. You have to promise... Really? Oh. What was that all about? Constable B looked very obviously troubled during that exchange. I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight, but I'm quite sure of one thing. We have to ask Mrs. Bede about the bouquet. Mrs. Bede, this bouquet you just mentioned. I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please. Man, we're adding like testimony after testimony. Really? Yes, I'd love to. And he's like, this motherfucker. I drove my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while. Alright, let's press in. You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime? Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset. When we ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife in her back. I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet Rolly gave me. It was in the dark spot where the streetlights were casting any light, so I didn't notice at first. And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on. Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again, but the funny thing is, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all. Ah. In case you need reminding, Mrs. Bede, the victim is not deceased. I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road. Your husband, presumably. That's right, silly me. I gone over to the wrong side of the street. Although, I'm going to blame the bouquet this time. Why? Yeah, never mind. It's called a bouquet, right? The bouquet somehow moved to one side. Yeah, that's it. We're getting closer. She must have been the victim must have been on the left side. Which solidifies our testimony. Or our assumption. By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this, sorry, Celerity Rose? Oh, yes, that's it. That's the bouquet Rolly bought me for our anniversary with odd bits of change she found in the gutter. That must be expensive for one rose. Didn't even get like a, yeah, maybe just call it a rose. Hello, Slav Van Ziggs. Where do you come by the flower? According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Garadeb's household. Alright. Although it wasn't noticed until the morning as it laid where the streamlines cast no light. Yeah, so the body was moved, I believe, yes. I was a bit confused, but yeah, so she dropped it on that left side. They saw the body. Wait, but how did they move the body? Yeah, this has been getting a bit confusing for me. If Rolly was there the whole time. It's a symbol of our love. I want her back after the trial. Did you hear me? I want her back. Good grief. Rest assured. I shall do my very best not to forget, Mrs. Beat. I'm a bit confused. I need save. The adventure of the clouded Kokoro. Kokoro means harm. Let's examine it, actually. It's very stylish paper the flower's wrapped in, isn't it? I think this newspaper is just an old newspaper, Miss Naohodo. Oh, I suppose it's because I'm not used to seeing English print. It's so exotic to me. Ah, I see. Something wrong? Oh, no. I was just thinking that if you wrapped a stone-baked sweet potato in English newspaper, it might look like this sort of fancy cake. Ah, Shazad-san, you do love your cakes. Huh. An English rose is such a beautiful flower. This is a rose, is it? I've never seen one before. You're not taking interest in flowers, Miss Naruto? I wouldn't say that exactly, but I do know 3 types at least. Gosh. 3? Yes, plum blossom, peach blossom, and cherry blossom. Perhaps you should consider branching out. Learning some that aren't fruit tree based, for example. I'm so confused. Alright. You haven't read this yet. Policeman will strive to preserve the peace within his allotted beat. The patrolling officer is expected to walk 20 miles. Any crimes fall in the direction. When a crime is discovered on his beat, the policeman must assist. Well, I've done everything, so there's a contribution somewhere here. I did leave the scene. Might be this. This?
Objection.
Nope. It's not that. It's something to do with the location, right? Maybe this?
Objection.
Nope. What could it be? Alright, let's just move forward off here. Well, Mr. Naohodo, what do you make of all this? Yes, the whole idea of an invisible attacker has been troubling me all along. I believe I'm starting to get a picture of what really happened here now. The 4th book that had no business being at the scene of the crime made me sure that Mrs. Garadeb was hiding something from us. But it's becoming increasingly clear that someone else has been hiding something from us as well. I think I may be armed with everything I need to strike a decisive blow. This time it's going to expose the whole truth. Alright. Might be his last statement, probably. Might be the bouquet, honestly.
Objection.
Oh, yeah, there we go. I was right. You claim, Constable, there was nothing to report in the 15 minutes you were guiding the scene. Alright. But that cannot be. When you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere. Yes, on the opposite side of Bray Road to where the victim was attacked. Considering the size of that meager bouquet, whoa, I'm like struggling here. No doubt it was blown in the wind. Maybe. Yeah, but consider the mirror. If a single solid bloom can be described, no doubt it will be blown to the gutter. Meager. Yeah, meager. But if it were the case, why did Constable B not testify to that fact? Yeah, the bouquet flew over. Nobody else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. Constable B swore to that on Scotland Yard's honor. The bouquet had belonged to me. It had nothing to do with the case. That's why Rowley didn't mention it, I'm sure. No, because sadly, it's not only a bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way around, yeah. What are you talking about? Think about it. Beside Mrs. B's bouquet, or bouquet, there's Mr. Gowdeb's book. Mr. Gowdeb's copy of the Lion's Pride, which was thrown out the window by his wife, would have struck the pane of the castic window. Yeah, here we go. Now it's making some logic here. And yet it moved to the right side. Yeah. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard earlier, Mrs. B's bouquet could have been dropped here at the scene of the crime on the east side of the street. But in fact, it was on the left side. On the opposite side of the road. There's no logical explanation for those things. Unless somebody deliberately moved them. What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my Rowley's done something wrong. Don't listen to a word that scrawny lawyer says. Wittering on about books and bouquets. Why should we care? It's nitpicking. That's what it is. Oh, good. Mrs. Gowdeb's come around. You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Gowdeb. Deliberately meddling with the scene of the crime is a criminal offense. It's called tampering. Yeah, Mr. Naruhodo. The person's responsibility for this tampering cannot admit to it. For a very subtle but compelling reason. Tampering? You've barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend. Who would possibly have had cause to carry such an elaborate deception? Yeah, there's someone who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening. Well, it must have been Rowley, right? Gotta be. All the evidence and all the testimony points to one particular person. Is it? Yeah, Rowley, right? Can't be Mrs. Gowdeb. Rowley.
Take that!
Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Rowley Bede. It was you. What? A policeman? A member of Scotland Yard? What nonsense. Why would my Rowley do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband. No Bobby's work more tirelessly for the people of London. Mrs. Bede, you said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. The 50 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with. You're making it up. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. Damn, this might be a sadder. This might all go downhill. What about that Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it was him. He did it. Yeah, but he didn't see anyone else, though. If that was true, Constable B would have seen him do it. Oh. Forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. Bede, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Ah, well... Objection. Oh, damn. Van Zeke's pissed. First you make accusations about the landlord and his wife, and now incriminating a policeman as well? Your accusations lack one very important thing. Evidence! You claim the crime scene was tampered with. There's only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless crime, to hide something. That's right, he's right. My husband and I just happened to be there, that's all. So why would he have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense. You offer no motive for this alleged tampering. Until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats. Constable Bede had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair, but what is it, Miss Nahodo? Have you managed to solve this mystery? I haven't. I haven't. Wait, hold on. Why did he do it? If you're mistaken, I'm sure your reputation and I will be irrecoverably, or whatever it is. With a stark warning. Yes, my lord. I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. Oh, hold on. A save. Oh, was it for the bouquet, it seems like. Constable Bede's motive for tampering with the crime scene was to hide where the victim fell, right? Ooh, this is hard. It's either the victim or the bouquet. I think it's this. Where the victim fell to the ground. That is what the body had to cover up. Oh, at all costs. What? Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you at the very start, didn't we? Yeah, we got the evidence as well. We saw what happened, remember? It was right here, as if anyone didn't already know. No, we got it. That's certainly where everybody has been led to believe, but in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. What? What? Sorry, Patricia. Rolly's on some shit. Oh, this might be terrible. What happened? Did he stab her? That's fucked. If that's your assertion, then the court is dying to know, my Nepalese friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening? On the other side.
Take that!
But that's on the opposite side of the road. I don't understand. I've got evidence as well. On the evening in question, Mr. Gaudet's book fell directly down from the open window above. And your bouquet, or bouquet. What is it? A bouquet? Mrs. B never moved at all. I don't even know anymore. What did move was the scene of the crime itself. Good gracious. Makes sense.
Objection!
Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard. These witnesses... I just smacked my head. Sorry, wait, hold on. I was just scratching my head and just smacked it. Giving myself a good backhand on my head. But these witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place. Yeah, alright. That's right, I saw it with my own eyes. It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was the typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid, that was actually on the west side of Brow Road. No, that's not true. It could have been. Constable Bede then arranged for you to be absent for a while whilst by sending you go for help. During the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in the print. The victim herself, the 4 books, moved everything in fact to the pavement on the east side of Briar Road. Extraordinary. The constable overlooked one thing. What? What did he overlook? Bouquet, I presume? No. Alright, yes. We just have the evidence. Okay, maybe the prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery. Lord Van Sink said it wasn't noticed until the morning as delayed where the street lamps cast no light. Yes, it could have been seen in the dark, obviously. You just forgot about that, yeah. Yeah, never mind. We'll get to it. We'll get to his path soon enough. And that is the defense theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond? Constable Royal Bede. Oh, what if he goes evil? No, he's still looking drowsy. Well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again. I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything? Oh, Rolly, you're getting accused for murder or for tampering. It isn't true, isn't it? What that lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know. Oh, hopes and dreams gonna go. I had a dream. A terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed. Only it seems it wasn't a dream at all. Good golly. What? I just noticed that they're in one scarf together, right? What's the meaning on that? Really, why would you do something like this? Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it? I was told to. I got paid. Crooked cop. He's a crooked cop. Oh, he can't say. I really am ever so sorry about all this. It's damaging the Yard's reputation for everything. Well, yeah, I have a possible explanation. Why on the particular evening, Constable Bede felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. Oh, right, it might be inside his court record. Must be here. Any of the Bede in which any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the Bede in which they are discovered. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigation. It might be that. That might be the reason. Didn't want to miss the anniversary. I can think of one reason. One? How could you possibly know? You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the man of a Scotland Yard policeman. Yeah, Lon Van Zeeks. It is this foreigner who have uncovered the startling truth of this matter thus far. Yeah, that's right, Van Zeeks. Shut the hell up and sit down. I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Counsel for the defense, if you please. Alright, I'm gonna save, just in case. My lord. Now then, I think you had better show us some evidence. At once, my lord. England, Japan, makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same. I think it's this book, right?
Take that!
I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land and I've only just arrived in Japan, which is why this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learned that though honorable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example. Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens on his beat in all kinds of ways. There's no doubt that the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly. But for Constable Bede, the day in question was special. Special? How? On account of this bouquet, my lord. Oh yes, it was our very first wedding anniversary. Constable Bede had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife. And was so looking forward to take her out for a celebratory meal. When he and Mrs. Bede stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road. When he saw that shadowy figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of him. What must have gone through the man's mind? Sir, just on that particular day, I was looking forward. Yeah. Mrs. B puts up with a lot being married to a Bobby like me. I want to show my dear wife how much I care. Damn. You didn't have to tamper it. You could have done it on another day, Rolly, you fucking idiot. This is the warrant card that Constable Bede offered to lend me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations to help with detectives. Aha. Constable Bede. Is that not the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day? Yes. Everything you said, it's all right. So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your bead. Oh. Exactly. That explains one thing. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Bede's bead. Goodness gracious. Constable, do you realize the gravity of what you have done? It was the first time since I became a copper I ever cursed God. Stay close to me, Pat. The criminal could still be lurking somewhere. As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. I gotta report this to the station as quickly as possible. Then it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was laying, and what that meant for me. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Why here? Why did it have to happen here? And why tonight of all nights? You could have arranged it, bro. You stupid boy. I know it's a terrible task, but... I mean, yeah, it's true. He had the month of no sleep, but come on. It's a cop's job to guard the scene of the crime, so... I told Pap she had to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then when I opened my mouth to speak. Well, it's true. You had to go through this, everything here, right? It just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pam. You have to go to the police box that covers it. Turn right on Merstham Street and then... Yeah, I knew... Oh, poor guy. Poor guy. Very desperate attempt. Will we get a new sprite for Rolly? Oh, damn. He's crying. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, Constable. I just wanted... Just that one night. Take my Patricia out for dinner. Oh, Rolly. Just that one night. You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would have been ruined. And so you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. Just across the street to the east pavement on Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring beat's care. See, I thought... Well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see. I beg your pardon? Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, my Rolly would have never left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement. Ah, I see your meaning now. God got me back for my sins, didn't he? Alright, I need to take a drink. I mean, it's not Patricia's fault. At all here. Can you tell us, Constable? How many books did you move from the one side of the road to the other in total? Huh? Oh, 4 was. Yes, sir. Definitely. 4. Two of them dropped by Mr. Natsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in Mr. Garadeb's household, of course. Alright, so she's not the... Is she the maid? I don't know. What made you place the book in the victim's hand? When all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean. Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. Oh, how you found it? What do you mean? When you first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, alright, this will open up that she might be the maid. I made sure it was still in her hand. Sure it was this book, The Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding? Oh yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir. Interesting. Damn. He's gonna be... I think that's his job, right? He's gonna get fired. I thought it was an open shut in case at the time, you see. There were only 2 people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw it happen. However, which way you looked at it, it had to be the fella who ran off who'd done it, I thought. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I've had it. Damn. My lord, send this man to the to the job agency. I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw. Yes, sir. Mr. Prosecutor, sir. What will become of my Rolly? What will happen to him? In due time. Yeah, you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due time. In due course. Please don't punish my husband. This wasn't all my fault. Oh, this was all my fault. This was my... Wait. Why did I say it wasn't? Yeah, this was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late. Damn. Leave it now, Pan. Let's go home. I'm tired. Alright then. My love. One last thing, Constable. Sir? Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you. Yes, sir. Carve that lesson in your mind. Yeah, give this guy a good rest as well, please. Never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime. Ah, never again, sir. You mean to say he still has his job? Leave, now. This trial's not over yet. Let this man rest, yeah, sir. Give this guy a good rest. Maybe celebrate their anniversary afterwards. Well, quite a stunning revelation. Or maybe they did it afterwards. I don't remember. Whoever thought of the third party transplanting the entire scene of the crime like that? Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here, principally. Yeah, it's still stabbed that the accused, Mr. Suzuki Natsume, is the only person who could possibly have committed the crime.
Objection.
No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous. I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility as well. Lon Van Zeeks, is this true? Oh, Mrs. Bede, I assume. Very well, name the person if you will. Yeah, it's Mrs. Bede. Oh, poor gal. Joan Garadib. Not Mrs. Bede. Joan Garadib, I mean, yeah. Garadeb. Joan Garadeb, not Mrs. Bede. She's at home. She's back at home. Mrs. Joan Garadeb.
Take that.
The defense would once like to request the cross-examination of a new witness, my lord. Once again. My assistant made the same request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case, it's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garadeb.
Objection.
Our request has already been denied. But the situation is very different now. Mrs. Garadeb, answer me this. What do you want now, you little toad? At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garadeb. In cause of the argument, a minor house fire was ignited. And to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened a window that looks... yeah. Alright, I'm tired. I'm tired talking. Let's just let it play a bit. The true scene of the incident. Yes, as I said, what of it? During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but anything you could do you lay your hands on. So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Garadeb. This knife, the one removed from the victim's back. Have you really never laid eyes on it before? I don't recall it. Seriously? I'm supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? Anyway, the man over there in all that regular said members of the jury needed to testify, didn't he? Conveniently, yes. Alright, no. I have no recollection of saying that at all. Juror number 4. Oh. Make no mistake. Alright, hold on. Alright, jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to judicial process. If you know something about this knife, madame, let the truth come out. That's just a common or garden knife. Could have come out anywhere. I have several like that at home. If I knew what one were missing, what would you expect me to know? What's that? Are you joking? What are you saying? Please, Miss Gaudeb. Mrs. Gaudeb. Now you listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought that I've injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it. Oh, the poor woman. So yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist of this being my fault. Prove me that I threw the knife. Alright, time to save and look at the knife. It's cut off. That's the only evidence we got here. Just the tip. A small piece of the blade is missing. Anything else of this knife? I don't know. Evidence? It might be the 4th book, actually. That might be more... Well, Miss Naruto? If I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at her already. And take the stand, juror. Oh. Prosecution does not object to the defense request. Witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. Truths of which the witnesses themselves may not even have been aware. Oh dearie me. So I demand your full and unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Gaudeb. Mark my words, in the court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsels? Certainly, my lord. Oh, that's what I'm hoping for, my lord. It's such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. Ooh, good screenshot. This is a good screenshot. I'm here in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer. Good stuff, good stuff. Alright, there she is. Witness, state your name and occupation. Oh, yes, my name is Joan Gaudeb. I am, well... I am a juror and such like. Sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a housewife or maid or what anymore. The court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. Oh, hold on, it's sweaty, man. Alright, I'm gonna play it. I am sweating. Chin up, Joanne. Nothing to worry about. Oh, is that the husband? Oh, I didn't know you were here, John. Wasn't only you in the room that day, all thing, wasn't it? Rather, I think I ought to testify, don't you? What about your knee, dear? Don't you worry about that. Hardly noticed it then. I'm not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone. John. I presume you are Mr. John Gaudeb? Yes, sir. Former 2nd Lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland Land Fusiliers, sir. Seen my fair share of action and now living the quiet life, as it were. The quiet life? Were you not engaged in incendiary battle with your spouse on the day in question? Ah, well, yes. Quite. I believe this may represent a first in the proud history of the British card. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. However, the card will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question. Battle of the Gary Deb. Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Knocked the candlestick over and set the fire to the carpet. Soon had it out, though, and got the window open. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him. Playing knives around our place. Can't say I noticed if 1 or 2 went missing, I'm afraid. If that bally thing in the victim's back really was one of ours, he'll have a job proving it, I think. And this is pretty hard. Sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening. Although an entirely one-sided assault, it seems. The enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no one but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we would have been toast. Whilst the veteran such as myself is only too aware that on every battlefield, you're just Gant's whiskers from death at any moment. We're still talking about martial quarrel here? Marital quarrel? Oh, never mind. Never mind. Alright, Van Zieg's may well be right. Well, whatever the chances. We need to have this last cross-examination to recover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, I'm afraid so. Very well, counsel. Begin your cross-examination. Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Knocked the candlestick over and set fire on to the carpet. It soon had it out, though, and got the window open. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him. Playing knives around the place. Alright. Yeah, hold on. I'm investigating. Can't recall the reason. I'm pretty sure I know the reason. The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe. Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly, it all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of the book belonging to Mr. Gary Deb. A rather passionate note, in fact. Mr. Gary Deb found the note discovering her husband's little secret, and she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for her too. What a sordid state of affairs. Hell on earth. I say, when a chap says he can't recall such thing, it's common decency not to drag it all up. And besides, half of it was wide of the mark anyway. A likely story. These waters run very deep. What transpired next after the multiple blows? Knocked the candlestick over and set the fire to the carpet. Soon had it out though and got the window open. Make sense? And the fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it? The bookcase, my armchair, anything of mine really. Just so happens there was some bathwater around that evening, so I sloshed that about to put it out. The most precarious situation you put yourself in. Ours is a 3-story townhouse on the west side of the street where the water main isn't connected yet. Have to draw water from a public water pump during the days if you need any, you see. Lodges are always worrying that they can't get any water at night. Although that little mustache Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe. The defendant, Mr. Natsume, you mean? Makes sense. That's pretty smart. Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, you know, from his home country. Can you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off. Have you actually seen the state of this man? Yeah. Have you seen his room? I believe he used all of his income to buy books. Well, anyway, the point is, I was able to douse the fire with water, fortunately enough. Let's get to a statement that I believe might put some eyes here. Yeah, this one.
Hold it!
So you have no intention of admitting it was your knife, unless we could produce proof. Even though there is no other credible possibility if Mr. Natsume is innocent. You forget, my Nipponese friend, that it has yet to be established that the accused is not responsible for the attack. As if I could forget. If only there was some way to know how... who handled the knife, yeah. I suppose wizardry like that is just a dream. We don't have forensics, unfortunately. Perhaps you're thinking of fingerprinting, Miss Naruto. What? You mean it's not a dream? That sort of wizardry really exists. Whenever people touch anything, they leave behind a unique pattern from their skin, or so they say. Fingerprints, yeah. There are already countries in the world where these so-called fingerprints can be used as evidence. Longstrand is currently discussing the matter at the Ministry of Justice. I believe we are rapidly approaching an era of scientific methods of investigation. For now, we shall have to find an alternative method of proving our assertion. So it does exist, but it's still in the works. Alright. If only I could transplant this whole instant to several years in the future. Makes sense, yeah. Alright, that's the extent of their testimony, isn't? What do you think, Mr. Naruto? Any contradictions? I think we've heard all of this before, to be honest. I can't say I'm particularly confident that we'll be able to prove anything new from this testimony. Seems like we're gonna do some pressing then. Yeah, we're gonna do some pressing. Must be feeling very worried. Worried that it was in fact a knife belonging to one of them that caused the victim's injury. If we could find even a tiny shred of evidence to support that theory, it would certainly clinch this trial for us. It would explain everything. Alright, let's go for 3 and 4 now. Yeah, I could find out whether, yeah. Even though the room was on fire. As far as I was concerned at the time. It was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames when a woman wants to throw. She must throw. That's most certainly not true of a societal takedown, Mr. Naruto. At least you know I was thinking of that. So please cast your mind back and try to remember. Was a knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day? And honestly, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see. Some bread, a cabbage, garlic, a towel, and a sponge. A napkin? Oh. Here we go.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. You have something to add, sir? Mr. Gaudab? Oh, wait. Oh, don't shoot. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Damn, did your wife's remark just bring something to your mind? Nothing of any significance, no. Just that the barrage of projectiles the old thing launched in my direction was somewhat more solid than she applies. Books, bricks, and the fire poker I seem to recall. Ouch. Wait, she's putting it in his pipe. Honestly, John, I would have never thrown such things at you, obviously. Well, take a look at this then. How do you suppose that happened, huh? Your pipe, sir. Oh, it broke. I had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. I didn't notice that. Melted clean with one of her soft projectiles she did. Yeah, and yes. And when I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. I like to see a sponge do that sort of damage. I see your pipe was broken. It would never been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I've managed to bandage the thing up for now. It still works. You'll want to exaggerate, aren't you, dear? I wonder what you make of this account. Could be a pardon. Defense believes the remarks might be of significance. This war veteran's words only tells us one thing. Betray of a fiery wife and pipes, as well as hearts may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, are hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony. Indeed, common sense, one might say. Might one? In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir? Oh, well, I don't see why not. Oh, there might be a shard of the thing. Alright, very well. The court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence. This might be it. This might be our breakthrough. Hope I didn't speak out of turn just now, though. I was just feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down. Oh no, it's fine. Thanks to Sazam, we have new evidence. Alright. Thanks for the rebuttal, Mr. Gaudeb. Now, if you could return to the crux of the matter, what can you tell the court about the knife? Alright. Let me examine the knife. Oh, it's chipped. And there's something in here. Hold on, the controls are weird here. Left and right is up and up and down is left and right for some reason. Oh, something's just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe there. Yes, I saw it. Something struck in there, I think. Let's turn it over and give it a shake. What? What's this? It's a tiny fragment of metal. It looks like a tip of a blade or something. The tip of a blade, surely. It couldn't be. Do we examine the tip? This is the tiny piece of metal we found in the chamber of Mr. Gavidev's pipe. It looks like the tip of a blade or something. Tip of a blade. Something wrong, Mr. Nahodo? Don't really know. There's just something niggling me that I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Perhaps in that case, it would be wise to examine some other piece. Alright. Yep. Back to the knife. Whoop. So it's just but how did she like got knocked out? Probably got hit by the book, honestly. Here it is. This is the knife. Oh, look here, Miss Nahodo. Just at the tip. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing. Wait, part of it's missing. I could be wrong, but I've got a feeling. Remember this? Ah, that's the tiny fragment of the metal we found inside Mr. Gaudev's pipe. Yes, and just maybe. By Jove. Oh my, it's a perfect fit. Somehow I just knew it. Alright. Found out. Yep.
Objection.
Oh shit. I didn't save it. I thought that was it. Uh-oh. I hope the autosave. Wait, load the autosave. $34. Alright. Alright. Thank Christ. Oh my god. It is his knife, right? That's the evidence. Or maybe I present his pipe than the knife.
Objection.
Nope. What is it? Let's see. What did it say? If that bally thing in the victim's bag really was, you have a job. Oh, maybe it's this one then. Alright, let me press on this one and see what happens. Sorry, would you care to elaborate? What did you say, really? Rather partial to a spot of carving, you see, pipes and whatnots, fishing tackle. You know, the sort of thing. It's a passion we both share. I like to carve little wooden trinkets too. And there's my leather work. Ah. Sorry to say, we're always losing eyes about the place, and we have dozens of the things. We sell them at the market sometimes, 20 for the price of 19. Needs to say, I snap them up. John prefers to use 2 knives at meal times too, instead of a knife and fork. That's a bit weird. Now, Joan, we don't want people thinking I'm some kind of savage. Yeah, that's a bit weird. Might just because they don't want to believe in. They could bear thought that it might have been one of their knives that injured the victim. I think this might be the statement here.
Objection.
Nope. I don't get it. Maybe I would do the pipe? I don't think so. Oh, did it save the... Wait, hold on. I think it did though, right? You would have thought the times piece file we find in his pipe would be a perfect fit for the missing teeth. Alright, it's extraordinary, isn't it? Alright, maybe you have to examine it twice. Yeah, some more miraculous proof I couldn't ask for. Maybe examine the pipe? Maybe I have to examine the cut here as well. Alright. I suppose it must have been considerable sentimental value to Mr. Garadeb, even though he's gone through trouble of repairing it like this. Either that or he can't afford to replace it. Makes sense, yeah? Maybe this cut, yeah. Maybe we have to examine that. There's a small nick out of the ball here. Seems to be relatively recent. See how the little scrapes and dents all over it. Pretty well made paint. Yeah, you're right. It seems to me recently that it's being well loved goes hand in hand getting some battle scars. It's catching my eye though, because it's clearly new. Maybe not, I don't know, bro. Yeah, this is the knife that... Yeah, I know that. We've heard that already. Why is it not the knife? Wait, what does it say? Is it not this?
Objection.
Why is it not that? We'll get to it. We'll get to the bottom of this. Wife and I did have a bit of skirmish. Knocked it out, got the window open. Can't say I noticed if one or two went missing. If that bally thing in the victim's back really was one of ours, you have a job of proving it. Alright, maybe we present the... Hold on. Maybe not the knife, but the pipe?
Objection.
No, maybe it's the piece. It might be the piece. I haven't done that yet.
Objection.
Yeah, there we go. Mr. Garadib, can I ask you to take a good look at this, please? You can ask, but I can't see a bally thing. You can? Used to call me Dead-Eye Deb back in the day in the regiment. Of course, but that was some time ago. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days. Better get the glasses. I struggle to tell B and D and P and Q, to be honest. Oh, he does. Dearie me, it's rather wearing being asked about every other letter and every other word. You must be very doozy. What is that? A tiny scrap of metal? It's almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear to be the first to be just a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence. Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence? It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garadeb's pipe. A pipe, you say? By Jove, I wonder how that got in there. And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting that it's somewhere related to the manner of the stabbing? Yep. What? You put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record. I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord. Oh shit, behind him he's burned. All the way from behind, didn't notice that. Alright, present the evidence. I got it.
Take that!
This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you will see that there's a small piece of at the tip of the blade that's missing. Common issue with the inferior blades are the unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leaves the tips lodged in their victim's bone. And what of this particular knife? No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate. How languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim. No, that's not the case. The tip of this particular knife blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garadeb's pipe. Ah! Damn, that's the first we've seen for Van Zieks. I don't believe it. The knife from the crime scene and the fragment of the metal are a perfect match. Good golly gosh. Good golly gosh. Order, order, order. Is this some Eastern sorcery? This is no magic, my lord. This is a miracle. A miracle. The Van Zieks has figured it out, has he? Counsel, explain this extraordinary coincidence at once. Yes, my lord. The crucial point we have to ask ourselves here is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garadeb's pipe? Then that was clarified for us the most recent testimony. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles she did, yes. Damn, they're shaking. Oh dearie me. During the act between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Mr. Garadeb flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Mr. Garadeb, instead striking the pike in his hand at the time and going out the window, which caused the tip to break off, of course. Good lord. Yes, and that is why the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Garadeb's pipe. The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1. Yeah, there's no other credible explanation of how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out the open window. In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Garadeb's house, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below. Oh gosh, oh dear, oh. No.
Objection!
Full body theory, I'll give you that. A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points plausibly arranged to create an almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to balling his argument. Sorry? But after all, it's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. But I fear, yeah, because you see... Oh, the foot's out. It's spoiled by an insurmountable inconsistency. An insurmountable... What? Oh, Van Zieks, explain yourself. What's the inconsistency? An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with a knife planted in the middle of her back. Yes, in her... Ah. There we go, slapped. That's right, you silly little man. The Joe Noel thing, what are you getting so excited about? Let's consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking around along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife that stuck and fallen from above, there's no possible way it could have planted itself in the victim's back. How about Rolly? Rolly? it would have stuck her on top of the head. Well, all right, this is the book. It's the book. Never liked this theory in the first place. I don't know though, what really did happen? It would appear the defense has made rather a spectacular blunder. A theory that has even one consistency you cannot stand. All theory, my learned friend, is history. It's not. The book landed on her head. We were so close, I could see the truth. It was so sure we were on the right track. Now the way has been blocked completely by just one simple inconsistency. Or in other words, we simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency and the theory will stand. Mrs. Zato, you mustn't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. You were just caught off guard, that's all. And your mind went blank. But if the path, she got hit on the head. The book. Makes sense. Key to this is in the car room. Yep, I got it. I got it. Say no more, Susato. Say no more, Van Zeeks. Well, your silence speaks volumes. Attacks it? Acceptance that your theory is fatally flawed.
Objection.
Objection. This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test. Yes. If the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way that I could have hit her in the middle of the back. Under normal circumstances, that is. What are you implying? Counsel? There's a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency. That can explain how the knife that fell above could have pierced the victim's back. We already have the answer. Goodness. Utter madness. Okay, this has been the last, must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence which you speak. Yeah, this is it. This is the last inconsistency. The final piece of the puzzle. I found it. I might as well save it here. I've got it. Say no more. If I can successfully make of this, the truth will lay bare. The evidence that explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is this.
Take that!
This, the fourth book, found at the scene. This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present. The burned book? Is that not Mr. Garadeb's book? Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand. As we all know now, it was the police constable that put the book between her fingers like that. Quite so, as part of his wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road. That's true, however, as part of his testimony, Constable Bede made an extremely enlightened statement on the point. Yeah, I wish I could skip this part. Yeah, it was already like that. That's because that's how I found it. When I first found over the scene, that's how she, Mr. Beef found it. Made sure it was in her hand. In other words, the victim had already picked the book up of her own violation. And clearly, that must have been before she suffered the knife wound. Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she had been doing much of anything. So the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand? By jingo! I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened now. But dear me. Oh, she bent down. Didn't hit her on the head, bent down, yeah. At the precise moment that victim was walking past. At the exact moment, the young woman was walking along the street in the light fog. When all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her. The book I threw. Yes, Mrs. Garadeb. And what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement? I literally pick it up, yeah. I really can't imagine it. But I suppose she might have reached down. Yeah, and picked up the book up. Yes, that's exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book. Oh, Heavens! And when the woman reached down to pick the fallen book up, what position would her back have been? That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Then in the very next moment, while the woman was still down picking the book, got her pretty hard in the back. The next object fell in the room above, the jackknife straight into the middle of her back. And that at the same time, walking by chance directly behind Mrs. Green, was the defendant, the Suzuki Natsume. Well, I never. It appeared to be to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor in the dark and the fog. He didn't see the knife falling on her from above. Ah. And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker. So there never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place. No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that accumulated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the real truth behind this case. I rest my case. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Gary Deb. Very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wonder if perhaps it might have been something like that. There, old bean. Poor Mrs. Gary Deb. Of course, I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? It wasn't her fault. Exactly. Well, I'll take full responsibility. I'll let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book. And I threw that knife as well. Well, I hope the repercussions aren't harsh. Maybe a visit, John dear? It's alright, I know. I'm ever so sorry. Truly. Alright, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She's down. Oh, damn, the catch. Oh, I can't pick her like he used to, huh? Alright, his knee. Oh, yeah. Oh, guy. Yeah, his knee. I was like, yeah. It's like you couldn't pick him up like he used to in the photo, but... Yeah, Lord Van Zeeks, what news of Mrs. Gowdeeb? Gowdeb. She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's event had left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There's no cause for concern. Yeah, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could easily be a terrible tragedy. They shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their action. There's some good news, however, my lord. I've just word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. The condition is improving steadily, and Dr. believes she will regain consciousness soon. It's strange, we've been talking about the victim all this time, but we never once met her. How wonderful. The woman's out of danger, it seems. Yeah, it's good news. Mr. Sosuke Natsume? Yes. On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture, and have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies. No, it was me who should be begging your pardon. No, Mr. Natsume. That evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped to the wrong conclusion again in my confusion. What conclusion, sir? I was sure that the woman was dead. Yes, Constable B said some same thing, didn't he? He thought she had been killed too. Sure, she must have, yeah, looked completely lifeless. Been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the fog. They're like haunting me. Poor Sasaki-san. His imagination really has got the better of him. Yes, poor man. So when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should have never dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for the police. Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between our two empires. For that, I am truly sorry. One could indeed say the same sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think. When I created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by this spirit and led to false conclusions. Thanks to Lord Van Zeeks, a young lawyer here from the east, that chain has now been broken and the spirit exorcised. I highly commend you both. Oh. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord. In concluding this trial, I must ask you one last time for your decision regarding the defendant's culpability. Yep, alright. Well, she's out of action, you know, but I know what her decision would be. Does it mean I'll finally be able to get out here and start work? Yeah, well, it's about time. Like I say, I'll have a corker of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I? Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decision. Mr. Foreman?
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Not
Oh, he's got a deep voice.
Not guilty.
Alright, let's see the fireworks. I hereby pronounce you... Yay, we did it, and the fireworks. Bit dangerous thing off fireworks, but you know, we just saw the Van Zeek stow his fucking wine into the gallery. Mr. Natsume? Oh yes, Lord Sir. You are now a free man once more. It is my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture. And may you never again be brought before me. Oh yeah, oh yes, sir, of course. On my life, I swear I'll never set foot in the courtroom again. I'm spotted 2 tears. Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned. That's twice. See, we got him over twice. Easy stuff. Now the conclusion, the epilogue. We did it. The Old Bailey. Oh, locum. Wait, you mean me? Of course. Is there another locum here? Is there even one? Compared to the original locum student, Mr. Nahuda Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it? What's wrong with using my actual name? Oh, alas, I'm free. I'm free. Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation. Heady, hearty, happiness, hurrah. Oh, I am pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted. Would it be so hard just to say that then? Locum, you did it. You saved me from the brink. Well, what happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now. No, not that. Lovely, loyal locum lawyer. Yes? I mean, as I said before, I have just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners. I see towering brick buildings. From high up windows, I see them looking down on me, laughing. Look at the little hunchback. Is he hunchback? I didn't really see. Oh dear, I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume. But today, you locum lawyer gave my gloom to boot. You stood firm behind the baronal bench before all those blabbering British. You bowed to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, behold the best barrister ever born. Oh, that's very flattering, and we're very pleased for you. This has given me a wonderful anecdote to account. My friends, old friends back in Joe, an anecdote. Is this what becomes of all my hard work? Oh, there you are, my dear fellows. Hey, I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning. Oh, Mr. Shaloms, what a pleasure to see you. I see I'm here not a moment too soon. A disaster had been averted, I'm glad to say. Oh, trial shall begin presently, Miss Naruto, and I wish you the best of luck. Oh, no. You just finished. What? No. Then my haste was in vain? Ah, it's you. Hairlock Shlomes. Oh, have we met, sir? This is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Shlomes. Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Previous encounters have taken place in the gloom, either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I so we couldn't place that curious face in the light. Charming. This is all your fault, Hairlock Shlomes. You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind. My apologies, sir, but I assure you, I have placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor lady and ran off, are you not? Ah. Had she been taken to the hospital more urgently? I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now. Oh. But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience. Let alone witnesses. I do feel very badly about how I behaved. Well, never mind. Now then, what was it you wanted to say to me, sir? Nothing. Priceless. Oh, I'm so sorry. Really? But that was quite priceless. What's Zeki-san? Still, on the bright side, you've had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And it would seem you were not even found guilty. There is no bright side. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume? Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits and now by the Reaper. Ah, well, Lombard Zeeks. I'm forgotten, you know, what facing that man in court means. Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed. It will be alright, Mr. Natsume. Huh? If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I will protect you. Hey, yeah. Oh, God. The perfectly executed Susanna takedown. Much as I like to being turned on my head, a bit of a warning might be nice next time, Mrs. Ado. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan. Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon. Oh. It has been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I've visited university, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here and the city it has shaped. I've come to realize that it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it. That's very touching, Mr. Natsume. Or, in perhaps less veiled terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world, escape the terror of the Reaper's curse. That's not it at all. The more I learn of literature, the more this strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own. Oh, I see. A work of literature by Suzeki-san. It'll be interesting read. It's gone. And what about Mr. Zato and yourself, Mr. Naruto? Sorry? What about us? Will you return to Japan alongside your mustachio compatriot? Why would we? Yeah. A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. And only now does it feel as though we finally found our feet. Damn. If I played this game, a week has not even passed. And we're on the final case. And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not? That's right, but we need to find lodging before it bankrupts us. I've calculated we can afford another 10 nights before our budget is exhausted. Well then, you could take my lodgings. Oh, the windowless room. Ah, but what it lacks, yeah, is windows. It's more than makes up for floor, ceiling, and walls. Great. And of course, I'll be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit. Or mine, evil spirit. Oh yes, it tries to suffocate you while you sleep. I think it's the cat. Well, think about it. If that's alright. Perhaps I can offer you a more welcome alternative. Oh, would you consider taking lodges with me? Really? Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it's up to the... in the attic, I might add. Are you sure it is just a storage loft? I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of the price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of. Oh, this is simply wonderful. What an honor to be invited to take lodgings in the great detective's office, attic. I'm too overcome for words. So suggesting we look elsewhere is allowed then. Then it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist. I don't know what to say. Thank you, and yes. Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shan't take long. Somebody's happy. Locum, I knew that you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London. Likewise, Mr. Natsume, it's been a privilege meeting you too. It's a shame that we have to say goodbye so soon. Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan. Locum, we'll meet again one day. Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer. Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author. Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naohado? Yes. Mr. Shaloms? I've little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening. Alright, so it's just me and him. And so, with Suzeki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Shaloms to what was becoming our new home, 2021, or 221 Baker Street. B. Baker Street. Is that it? I think we got an epilogue here, yeah. Is that onions in there? On the side there? The attic room, yeah. It's a bit spacious. So this is... Yeah, it's to be our new office, yes. Our office. I would like the sound of that. Me too, it's simply wonderful, isn't it? I hope you can see this, Kazuma. It's only a small step, but I like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now. So my dear fellows, how do you like the place? Oh, damn. Ah, Mr. Shaloms. Yes, thank you so much. You're looking a bit dapper. It's a delightful room, Mr. Shaloms. I simply adore it. Is that... Yeah, this is without his hat and coat. Good, I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you. Hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives. We have a lot to celebrate. Iris, you must let me help you. Alright then, Susie. You can be in charge of the salad. Splendid. Alright. So, Mr. Naohado, how does it feel to have your own office in the capital? It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us. Ha 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 ha. Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at these premises. Till I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is. Sorry? London is a glorious place full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. The brightest of lights cast the darkest of shadows. Shadows? What do you mean? Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So, once again, Mr. Naohado. Welcome to London. Of course, at the time, I had no idea of the significance of those words Mr. Shaloms so casually spoke. It wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay behind it. Alright, that's the end of episode 4. Good stuff. And we're gonna get to the final case of the game. Yeah, of this whole game. It's gonna be a long one, I can tell you that for sure, for fact. Save over. Episode 5. Oh, we got the... Oh no, we don't have... The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. But I think it's time to disappear. Whoops. What it says? The Hound of the Bakersville. The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. But that's it. That's it for this session. So that was it for the greatest season turning. Another good session all around. Episode 4 went very well. Albeit next time I hope I don't waste all my life. And yeah, episode 5, the final case. Albeit there is a DLC, but it's the final case of the main game. This is the conclusion to the game. But we do have the DLC to play. I don't know where it will be. Maybe in the special contents? I don't know. We'll check. I did order the thing. Play some short extra stories. Escapades. Taylor. Alright, we got oh shit, we got oh, they're only available for number 2. Damn. Oh damn. Let's not forget to activate that. Some accolades. Alright. Yeah, but yeah, that's it for this session. Hope you guys enjoy it. And we'll be on the final case. I'll see you guys soon. Catch you guys later.